Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
I just wanted to cover this on its own by itself. Sometimes I hold on to some news items and just cover them together, but feel the urge to share this 6.1 quake off of the coast of Oregon. This is located 170 miles west of Newport, Oregon. This definitely gave a lot of the Pacific Northwest a little jolt. 6.1 is nothing to shake your nose at, so to speak. It is a significant quake. Here you go. They're currently showing as 6.0 on USGS. Again, this is the area that we would be very concerned with, the greater Cascadian area. The area that has experienced probably what was a 9.0, maybe even larger, in the year 1700, which literally brought about a tsunami that wiped out hundreds of Indian Native American villages along the coast. And coincidentally, again, it really, I believe, changed our whole coastline. I do think so, as we had talked before about how the maps that you find mostly from 15s and 1600s, they all show California as an island. And then after the quake time, it's not an island anymore. Again, what is the real history? That's a tricky thing to discern. But what I also wanted to say is you have this doomsday fish, right? These oarfish, once-in-a-lifetime oarfish encountered in Monterey Bay. A big quake coming to the area soon. Do you know how many of you out there have had these dreams and visions of this event? Now, I've been getting them for a long time, and there's a series of things which, honestly, back in 2024, I was feeling like April was the beginning of the big events. I'm talking the Great Quakes and everything. But it didn't manifest at that time. But the more I look at it now, the more I start thinking, and feeling like maybe I was jumping the gun by 2 years, because everything seems to be coming together at this point in time.
Well, our intuition doesn't really have a timestamp on it, so you could have the intuition, and instead of asking what or where, why did I have this? Something didn't happen. We just need to keep asking, okay, when? Because our bodies, they don't pick anything up that's not somehow out there in the ether.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, where these fish are encountered usually means a big quake is coming. So I've shared with you guys before that I've had these different dreams, and like I was always saying to people, if you want to remember your dreams, write them down. As I'm losing my voice here, write them down. And I didn't realize at all that I had a dream that looked a lot like what exactly happened with 9/11. And in this dream, I saw myself inside the Twin Towers, and I saw a big flash of light and explosion, and I knew it was the Twin Towers because I had been in them many times. Again, I lived just 30 miles away from New York growing up, so I recognized it as the Twin Towers. Now, I didn't know I had a dream of that until about 5 years later when I was glancing through a dream journal, and I caught a little entry that happened to be 9/11/2000, exactly 1 year before it happened. So I didn't know about it though until like 2005, I believe it was, when I looked, and then I was like, holy cow, I actually saw this happen. So what I have done here is just basically I'm showing you some of my entries. Now, when something hits me and it feels important, I'll get up and jot it down. And it's usually in the middle of the night. And so handwriting is sloppy, and sometimes I don't put all the details in, or I will in the morning. But back in April 13th of 2018, I dreamed Los Angeles was split in two, east and west. And It was the west side, I believe, that was destroyed and underwater, and they were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger and other celebrities to give an accounting for them. And I had a dream about a helicopter going down also around that time. And this was the one. This was January 27th, 2018. Dreamed of an 8.3 quake in Washington State, like around Seattle somewhere. And then I was also having these, at that point in time, I was getting tons of flying type things. And so it was a really, really active time for myself as far as growth goes. And I know I'd been working on my light body a lot at that point in time, which again, I do think can trigger these types of dreams and visions. So this was another entry in that time period. So the 27th of January back in 2018, almost 8 years ago was when I had that dream. So when I note the dates, now that one point in time, I had a dream that actually came to pass 1 year from the dates. I always make note of the dates because, again, as Cindy said, when we're outside of our bodies, time is not really existing like it is when we're in our body, but it could be significant. At least I take it as significant. So I only just share this with you guys because we, of course, care about y'all, and that's part of our purpose is just simply preparing. So if I didn't, I would be very, very negligent. And I know I've mentioned this casually in the past. So the other thing, too, is I heard the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is expanding, and that's where new land is going to develop. Also, I had heard that the South Atlantic anomaly, it was like somebody was talking to me or I was listening to a program. The South Atlantic anomaly is going to extend all the way up to Florida, and where I was in Florida at that time. So, that was part of my decision to leave Florida because I had dreamed that it was going to be a problem. And so, again, we all listen to our own intuition. And then I also, right in that period on 3/9/18, saw New York destroyed by something that looked like lava, but it was an attack of some kind. So I was thinking, what could that be? And I was, again, watching it on the news. So these type of things, they're just like, it's just like watching a newscast. So I had seen that 8.3 in Washington State, and that was on January 27th, 2018. And then back on 4/13, 2018, so not quite 3 months later, I saw Los Angeles literally split in a dream. Hopefully nothing will come to pass. Chances are we've shifted paradigms. We're always shifting time frames and, going into a different reality depending on, again, the collective, but then, this whole universe lies inside of each of us at the same time. So I just wanted to bring it up when I saw that 6.1 because the other things that were dreamt about and the visions that came were also about chaos that we're seeing right now. And, these were in other dreams that, these were things that were going to transpire when basically it looks like the U.S. is devolving into fighting itself, which is happening now as we speak. And then also the tie-ins with when all this is going on. And after those big quakes, then we are, in as far as the timeline of my visions have gone, that's when we get basically hit by the BRICS nations. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. What should we do? Again, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be a bumpy road. I think we can all feel and sense it coming. I mean, you have these experts that will tell you, experts in like the USGS, we're long overdue for a big one along the San Andreas coast, and the same thing with Cascadia. And our emotions are what trigger these things in many ways. Obviously, there's technologies as well as natural cycles. But there is definitely a correlation between what we're going through emotionally and the earth changes.
I know there's a lot of change going on, so I think listen to yourself. Just be ready, no fear, detach from that, but just have some backup.
Yeah, so little things. It's like, okay, so what am I going to do today? I'm going to make sure that we have the ability to, cook. If the power goes down, I got to get, new gas in the generator, this type of thing. Because obviously it seems to be that we are going head first, full bore into a period of extreme chaos. And as we always do when we do our lives, we put out there the intention, Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu, which is Sanskrit for may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my words, actions, and deeds contribute to that happiness. And freedom, it's important because obviously there is a element out there that doesn't want to see humanity free, but we will be free, and it's just a matter of time.
You know what I just want to say in ending? Now is a very important time to be healthy, to be in shape. And this is something that we do every day. We make sure that our bodies have that resiliency to get through something really big. So it's just something we try to pass on to you guys whenever we can. It's important to have that resiliency.
Yeah, and that's why we've been kind of training like young athletes or middle-aged athletes. Yeah, and we've been prioritizing it because we realize most people, if the power is going to be out for any point of time, unfortunately, in our society, most people are not in good shape. Again, quite the opposite. So if we had to do things like people had to do 100 plus years in the past, literally haul wood for heat, cut down, chop logs and stuff, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it. So I do think that we're going to have a period that's going to be very physically as well as emotionally and spiritually challenging. So again, have a regular practice. And Cindy did have, after I had those, she had a vision that showed all three going off very close together. Cascadia, San Andreas, and then the New Madrid. If you caught our interview with Wayne yesterday, Wayne Steiger, he was talking about, there's water that's just disappearing in the Mississippi. And, there's accountable water coming on down and funneling into this area. And then when it gets over here, it seems to be disappearing. But remember, Casey said there would be a sea, a literal sea, that, the Mississippi would turn from a river to a sea, and that it was also part of the divide that's going on geopolitically here in the United States. Not an east-west divide, but obviously an ideological divide, but it's the tension that actually brings about like the Quakes and adds to them and would cause the conditions where we literally would be separated physically from each other.
Yeah, so just be safe out there.
As always, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Take care of each other, show some love and compassion for each other. And talk to your neighbors and family members because obviously, we're in very, very challenging times, but we will make the best of them and we'll hang on to each other.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.